Here's your host, F.P. Santangelo.
All right, how we feeling, Giants fans? I want to hear from you tonight. Giants win 5-3. They're 2 back in the last wild card spot. Was watching the Phillies-Mets game tonight before. I've never rooted for the Phillies so hard. And I'm watching the Mets. I don't know if you guys have been paying any attention to the Mets at all, but they're a lifeless bunch. And I know good pitching can make you look like that, but I watched Juan Soto tonight. I watched Francisco Lindor. I watched Pete Alonso, and they're all just got that deer in the headlights look. So I know the Giants are 2 back, and it's really 3 back with the tiebreaker, but forget that. The standings say 2 back, and that's what I'm going with, because the way things are going, the way this team is playing, I don't know if that's going to matter. And I feel like, yeah, it's factual, and you can't really argue with that. But I'm just seeing 2 games back in a lightning bolt catching these guys. And I see one team that's playing as well as anybody in Major League Baseball. I've told you guys this before. I watch a lot of baseball all day long. I'm not very well-rounded. I don't read books. I don't know math. I don't go to the opera. I don't watch Broadway plays. I watch baseball. And I watch it all day long. It's always on the background. I watch it at home. And I watch a lot of teams around the league. Like, the Phillies are good. And you watch the Brewers, they're good. But when you're watching what the Giants are doing right now and how they've gone about it and how resilient they are and how well they're playing based on all the other games I'm watching, they're playing as well as anybody in Major League Baseball. And I think it's okay to let your guard down and get a little bit excited about this. And if you're not, then I have to question you. Because what they've done this year is pull themselves up off the mat. They have been a resilient bunch. Like, we were all pulling our hair out for 2 months. Like, what is he doing? What is this guy doing? What is going on? Another mistake on the bases of this. And all of a sudden, it's clicked. And all of a sudden, this is a team. And all of a sudden, they're together. And they have a thing going. And they have a vibe going. Whether it's Drew Gilbert, whether it's Rafi Devers clicking, whether it's Willie Adames, who everybody's crushing early in the season, is about to hit 30 home runs, Matt Chapman, whatever it is, they have it. And when you think about all the Giants teams in the past, and I'm not, look, this is no victory lap. We're not talking about a parade yet. But you think about all the Giants teams that have won in the past. They've had character. There's been a vibe. Whether it's been Brian Wilson and Fear the Beard or Aubrey Huff, and who knows what happened to him. But Aubrey Huff, and you just think about those teams with Tim Lincecum. And they all just, whether it was Bumgardner, they all had a vibe. There was something special about those teams. And it wasn't that they just threw their gloves on the field and out-talented everybody every single night. They had it. And this team, it took a while for them to click, but they've clicked, and they have it. They have a character now, and Drew Gilbert is getting national attention. He was mentioned on the Pat McAfee show today, and Pat McAfee didn't even know who he was, but they showed all the highlights of the SF Strangler in the dugout and Drew Gilbert, and he just... I mean, so you think about all the other teams, not Giants teams in the past, but think about all the teams that have won. They all have something going on. It's the intangible part. In a game where we have so many numbers and analytics and data for everything in baseball, the human element to me is still the most important thing. If you can come together as a group with 26 guys and you're all on the same page and you check your egos at the door and it doesn't matter who gets the credit and you're all doing whatever it takes to win, that's when it really becomes special. So whether they pull this off or not, like I said, I'm not taking a victory lap right now, but you got to tip your cap to this club, no matter what happens these last few games, just to be able to get us all this excited about baseball again. And I'll say this. I remember when the third wild card came out, and George Will, who's a friend of mine back in D.C., let me pick up that name I just dropped, was big on the third wild card spot. And I think he and Major League Baseball, they got together one winter and said, let's add another wild card. I'm like, well, you're watering it down. Like, you know, when I was in Oakland, we won 102 games and we were the wild card because the Mariners won 116. And now all of a sudden you're going to get a team that's 500 in the playoffs. I don't like it. And I was wrong, because how exciting has this been for all of us? Like, all of a sudden they're in it. And all of a sudden we have meaningful baseball in September. And I know you're all going to be out the yard tomorrow. I know you're going to be here this weekend for the Dodgers because, like I said before, I haven't done the show in a while, that we don't have many of these left. So as a fan base, we have to get behind these guys and rally behind them, because what they've done is incredible and remarkable. No matter where this finishes, who knows? But there could be baseball here in October. They're 2 games out of the last wild card spot. and they're playing better than all the teams in front of them. So I'm excited. Are you guys excited? I want to hear from you. I haven't had a finger on the pulse with the fan base in a while. 808 KNBR is a number. You guys know I love to take calls. Jacob, let's go to Nick in Belmont and start this thing off. Nick, you're on the Sports Leader. What's going on?
FP, just another brilliant game, bro. It's so amazing to have, like you said, competitive baseball here. We're 2 games out. Anybody who said that they thought we would have been 2 games out before this season started, I don't know. But honestly, the people who were calling for Pat Burrell's head and Bob Melvin's head 3 or 4 weeks ago, it is brilliant to watch all this happen and see just kind of the way it's unfolded. It's almost like, I don't want to, fall right into your soliloquy, your opening stuff there, but you got to just sit back and let baseball happen sometimes. And it's been brilliant to watch this. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Hey, good call, Nick. I appreciate it. Yeah, I remember it's been a few weeks since I've done the show, and I remember there was a Fire Buster Posey call, and I went nuts. And I said at the time, which was probably an unpopular opinion amongst the KNBR crazies that call, and I love when you guys call, no matter what your opinion is. You don't have to agree with me. That I gave him an A+ for his first year as president of baseball operations. When you look at the trades, and you look at signing Rafi Devers and what the other guys trading for Rafi Devers and the other guys have done that have left the Giants in that trade, and then you look at Tyler Rogers in that trade, and all of a sudden we got an energy guy in Drew Gilbert. I could do an hour right now without taking one call talking about Drew Gilbert and what he's meant to this ball club and the energy that he's provided these guys. And a lot of times as a veteran player, you start to get like in your way, right? And you come to the ballpark, you do the same routine every single day. And one of my biggest pet peeves since I've been back since 2022 is I haven't really seen dugout celebrations when the Giants hit a homer. Now all of a sudden they have the tunnel you go through, and then Chapman's at the end and he's choking Drew Gilbert, and then Drew Gilbert's doing whatever he can to have fun. And I think his act is authentic. I don't think any of this is rehearsed. And when you have a player where it is authentic and that's just who he is, to me, there's a huge tip of the cap to the Giants clubhouse with all the veteran guys, whether it's Justin Verlander, Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, Rafi Devers, Willie Adames, Matt Chapman, all the veteran guys that have been in baseball a long time. Because in the old days, rookies were seen and not heard. If we did anything like that, they would be like, oh, you're going back to AAA. But the fact that they've let their guard down and they realize the value that he has to the ball club and the energy he brings, and he's walking the talk too. He didn't have a good night tonight, but whatever. You're not going to do it every single night. Probably got robbed of a double or a triple down the line. But the fact that the team has welcomed him with open arms however he is, and just to let him be himself. And when you see the quotes, like Logan Webb can't get through a post-game press conference without mentioning Drew Gilbert. And being around these guys the last road trip, they're all just like, he's great. They love him. And the way they've accepted him, the way he's just gone about his business. I don't know if he's the main reason they've turned this thing around, but the day they traded for him, I went on social media and I saw all of his videos from Tennessee where he's bat flipping, and I tweeted it. The Giants need a guy like this. And I had no idea he would have this much of an impact. But, like, tip of the cap to everybody in that clubhouse for saying, bro, you just do you. And we love this thing. Every team needs a guy like that. It makes it fun to come to the ballpark. It makes it fun to get on the bus. It makes it fun to get on the plane, because you never know what this guy's going to say or do. But this whole thing he's doing wouldn't hold as much weight if he wasn't performing at the highest level. When he got the 7 hits in 2 days, when he hit the home run in Colorado. I mean, the things he's done in the outfield, the plays he's made. So, the long-winded segment here is just like they have it going right now. In a day and age when there's so many numbers, can take you so far. And you get a synergistic approach where everybody's buying in and they all believe and they all are doing whatever it takes to win. There was a time this year where it was 9 different guys. And it never felt like a unit. It never felt like there was rhythm. It was just 9 different players coming to the plate every single night. And they kind of had their own game plan, their own this, their own that. And all of a sudden now it feels like those 9 guys that come to the plate every night are one. It's one person. And if you don't give me a strike, I'm passing the baton. You can't pitch around Rafi Devers anymore because Willie Adames is hitting home runs. You can't pitch around Willie Adames anymore because Matt Chapman is swinging it. And you can't pitch around Matt Chapman because Dom Smith is doing it. I'll go for another hour on Dom Smith if you want, on how valuable he's been to this ball club. So you guys know, you've seen 3 championships around here, and you know what that vibe feels like. And if you're not feeling that vibe right now, I feel sorry for you. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Dennis in San Jose. Dennis, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
FP, I got to tell you something. It was a great game. We won it, but I'm worried. And I'm worried because the thing is that our closer, I don't think is the right guy to be the closer. We got a guy that pitched in the 7th inning tonight, in the 8th inning, another pitcher. Both those guys, I think, should be our closer. By any chance, what do you think about that?
Well, Yoel Peguero did a nice job tonight. He pitched inning and 2/3, gave up no runs on no hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 2. Joey Lucchese's got a vibe to him, too, by the way. I should mention him on this whole turnaround thing, that these are 2 guys that are really taking advantage of opportunity in high-leverage situations, and they're getting the job done by just pounding the strike zone. Great play by Lucchese tonight. That ball he fielded had mud all over it. Dom Smith did the tiptoe on the bag. But you need Ryan Walker, and you need him to do well. If you're going to play in October, he's got to be a guy for you. And I know there was the hiccup in St. Louis the other day, and that was a tough loss. That was boom, 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 game's over. And it seemed like things were going really fast for him. I don't know that I've ever seen him work so fast, but he started to work too fast again tonight. And then I watched Patrick Bailey. By the way, if I was in the post-game wrap today, and those guys, that was one of the better wraps. I was laughing in the other room listening to it. And I had a player to pick, which I didn't, and all their picks were fantastic. Patrick Bailey tonight did something that really stood out to me. It was the first inning. And all of a sudden, Perdomo's up, and he walks on a 3-2 pitch that could have went either way. And Robbie Ray had a long walk around the mound. And Robbie Ray, at times, can kind of lose it where he gets pissed off. And Patrick Bailey decided to take a mound visit right there. And I said, that's a good trip, because he knew his starting pitcher, and he knew what makes him tick and what kind of sets him off a little bit. So he slowed the situation down. He went out there, and then he got a double play from Corbin Carroll, 6-3 double play, 1 or 2 pitches after that mound visit. So to me, besides the home run that Patrick Bailey hit tonight, that was the play of the game for me, because you just never know where that's going to go. That could have went sideways in a hurry, and that's what good catchers do, well-timed trips to the mound, and I thought Patrick Bailey did a good job tonight with that. So I have a feeling, Dennis, that you would call and complain if they won a World Series game.
These players to be on our team that we couldn't get a long time ago, and we're getting them now.
I couldn't hear you, Dennis. You broke up right there.
Okay, here's the thing. I said a lot of people said that Posey wasn't a good general manager, but I said, look at him now, man. All the players that he traded for are doing the thing, man. They're great, hitting 30 home runs, 28 home runs, and they're hitting with power and everything, and they're helping our team out a lot, man. We didn't have these kind of players for the last 5-7 years come in, maybe longer.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, Dennis. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I was pretty aggressive the last time I was on here. I said, if you come on KNBR and you say that Buster Posey should be fired, you're just screaming on 50,000 watts that you know absolutely nothing about baseball. Let's go to Dan in Palo Alto. Dan, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hey, how are you doing, FT?
I'm doing good, Dan. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, you're welcome. I've got sort of a non-baseball question for you, and then I got a baseball comment. First of all, I really enjoy your call-in show like this. But what I really love is your color commentary during a game. And I'm so glad you've been on the air doing this better than the play-by-play.
Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, the play-by-play was an experiment gone bad. I didn't realize how hard that would be, especially when you have a limited.
I haven't heard you do the play-by-play. Whoever you're doing the play-by-play with, unless it's Dave Fleming. Anyway, you're the highlight of the game. So here's my non-baseball question. Last month, for like the 20th year, my son and I went down to Monterey for Car Week. And what we do every year is we go to the historic races, these old and classic cars racing. And they have 2 announcers, the play-by-play and the color commentator. And I swear to God, the color commentator sounded just like you. Do you announce car races?
No, but I drive to win when I'm in my car, so that could be a similarity. But no, I don't do racing.
This guy, I kept saying to my son, "Sounds like FP. It sounds like FP." Well, I'm
what would I
disappointed that
say?
it's not, but I'm glad there's somebody else who sounds like you.
If I'm doing color for car racing, what do I say? I really like the way he stepped on the gas pedal there and shifted gears. That was really smooth, and the way he turned that corner was like I do going to Safeway to buy groceries.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's about what it was.
All right.
So
Well,
anyway,
go ahead.
my baseball comment, I've really just two. I've been feeling really bad for Justin Verlander because he pitches beautiful games and then he gets no run support or the reliever blows the save, like it happened the other day. How does he maintain his, equilibrium?
I don't know, man. I'm with you. He pitched so well in St. Louis the other day, and he's been the victim of all these blown saves and bullpen hiccups. And it just seems like every team has a guy like that where, remember Matt Cain? The Giants couldn't score runs for Matt Cain. And at first it was they couldn't score runs for Verlander, and he's pitching well enough. That's another Buster Posey sign that I think is super under the radar, sneaky good this year. Whatever the influence he's had in the clubhouse, his veteran leadership, and the fact that he's gone out there and put together a half-decent year with a lot of bad luck. I mean, if you look back, he could be an over 500 pitcher. And, yeah, that's kind of frustrating because he's trying to get to 300 wins. And I don't know if we'll ever see another guy get to 300 wins.
I know.
Yeah,
really
it's unfortunate, but I like him pitching big games down the stretch. I really do. This is a guy that's been there, done it. He's pitched in World Series. He's a former MVP and 3-time Cy Young Award winner. So, I feel confident him against the Dodgers or him against the Dodgers in a big game late in the season. I really do.
I think his maturity has helped him withstand these awful losses that he wasn't responsible for. And I think it'll help him throughout the rest of the season and the big games especially.
It will. Sorry. I will. It will. I'm gonna try to do race car drive. I'm gonna practice that this off season. Just in case, to be a little more well rounded and be more versatile and do some car racing stuff.
So the other thing you mentioned, there's something intangible about the team. In 2010, we won everything, but we had no name players. And I used to tell people that the Giants, the only thing they're really good at is winning. Somehow they find a way to win. And I was just mystified. What is it about this team that has come together so that they just win? And I talked to some sports psychologists. I couldn't get an answer from anybody. 10 years later, in the summer of 2020, this woman published a book about team chemistry, how to explain how sometimes teams just come together like this and magical things happen. The book is called Intangibles, which you mentioned the word. And guess what case study she used for most? The 2010 Giants.
See, what did you before I let you go? Because this is like right up my alley. The mental game and chemistry, and I believe in that so much more than math. And maybe that's the old school in me. But what was her conclusion? Like, you can't explain it, or a bunch of guys just check their egos at the door and they're all about winning? Because I think at the highest level, no matter what sport it is, it's hard to get that. It's hard to get that synergy where everybody buys in because there's contracts and money, and you get to set your family up for life if you get your numbers. And there's all these other factors that go into the performance and winning and losing at the highest level. But if you can get guys that don't care about their numbers and the only thing they care about is the almighty W, you can move mountains, man. And I would love to read this book because I'm into that kind of stuff. What was her synopsis of 2010?
Conclusions, about team chemistry were two things. They have to be believing in something greater than themselves individually, a unified, common, lofty goal, and they have to love each other.
Who talks about that a lot is Dusty Baker talks about loving your teammates and how powerful that is.
That's basically what she concluded, when they care about the team and each other, not about themselves.
That's good stuff, man. What a great call.
Together.
What a great call, dude. I really appreciate it. That was outstanding.
Okay. Thanks, FP.
Yeah, call anytime. That was 10 out of 10. I'll get deep in the weeds with the whole mental side of winning in baseball and sports because I'm into that kind of stuff. All right, I see everybody on hold. I got to take a quick commercial break. Jacob will just play one or two. It won't be one of those 20-minute commercial breaks that we do here at KNBR, and I'll get back to your calls. Giants win 5-3. They're 2 back at the last wild card spot. Your call's next on the Sports Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Gallen ready, throws. Swing. There's a high drive. Deep left field. Way back there. Adios! Pelota! And maybe the pain has completely gone away now for Willie Adames. A majestic 3-run homer over the 354 marker out there in left field and well back into the bleachers.
Love this song, Jacob. I just don't know what the line is. Like a douching in the night, blinded by the light. If anybody knows, 808 KNBR. I've sung so many songs wrong my whole life because I think I know the lyrics and then I find out that I'm not even close. That's one that I don't know. Blinded by the light, is lit up like a douche and then a runner and then something like that. Anyway, KNBR is the number. We'll get back to the phones. That was Willie Adames' 28th home run. He's got 81 RBIs. He's hitting a little over 230. And in my scorecard, I put exclamation points by good at-bats. He flew out or lined out to center. I gave an exclamation point in the third after his home run. Lined out to left, exclamation point. And then fly ball to deep right field his last time up, exclamation point. So 4 good at-bats for Willie Adames. Willie's had 23 home runs since June 2nd. It's the most home runs by a Giant, his 28th, since Jeff Kent did it in 2002. And he's the first Giant to homer in 8 straight series since Barry Bonds did it in 2003. So everybody that was crushing Willie Adames early in the year, say you're sorry right now. 808 KNBR, you can apologize. We'll do an apologize, a show where you just come on and say, I was wrong. Because, I always loved the Brian Sabian line when he used to get into it with Ralph Barbieri back in the day. And I use this a lot, and you guys have heard it before. Judge me by my body of work. That's what he used to tell Ralph when Ralph was like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And he would say, at the end of the year, if we suck, I'll wear it. But judge me by my body of work. So maybe a lesson for all of us that if things don't start out well, and I've said this before, that some of my most satisfying seasons were hitting under 200 at the All-Star break in AA, and 1 year in AAA hitting under 200 at the All-Star break with 300 at-bats. And hats off to my managers who were playing me still after that 1 year I got up to 245, and the next year I got up to 250. And that's like hitting 400 the rest of the season to make your average move when you have that many at-bats. And those were my most satisfying seasons. I had other ones where I played well all season long, and those were good too. But I think it tells more about the person than the player when you sign a big contract. And there was pressures to get to the big leagues and not get released. Not the same pressures that Willie Adames is under with all the money and coming to a new city and being the shortstop and, one of the faces of the franchise. Different kinds of pressures. But the fact that he had what it took to turn his season around, a lot like a microcosm of what this Giants team has done. And maybe you don't even have to look any further than Willie Adames for why they've turned this thing around. So some pretty cool numbers. But the Giants are playing hardball right now. They're not playing baseball. They're playing hardball. The fact that Matt Chapman tagged up on that short fly ball tonight, the Schmidt fly ball, I think it was DC said it was 225 feet away from home plate and took a chance there and is sliding to home. That's playing hardball, man. The way Drew Gilbert's playing, the way Rafi's playing, the way Chapman's been playing all year, they're playing hardball. Even Jung-Hoo Lee has been hitting way over 300 for over a month now. I think I saw something today, 317 in his last whatever. And then he laid down a bunt last night, and I went nuts on Twitter. I'm like, if he bunts, he could hit 300 and win 300 wins you a batting title nowadays. And he's hitting 270 something. Imagine if he had like 10 or 12 base hit bunts onto his average right now. He'd be right up there with the league leaders in batting average. So he's another guy that's turned his season around when things were getting weird for him. All right, let's get back to the phones. 808 KNBR. Let's go to Stevie G in San Francisco. Stevie G, you're on KNBR. How you doing?
Hey, I'm glad you're on the radio. It's always great to hear you on KNBR. I think if we run short this year, it might be because of too many injuries in our pitching staff. But I just want to hit on a couple of real quick things. Oakland fans are coming over to support Giants attendance. That has not been mentioned. I think that's part of the reason why they're getting a big attendance. And also, I wanted to mention this last caller mentioned intangibles, and I think that's what led our success in 2010. And when Hunter Pence was with the club, he brought that intangible spirit with the club, and that's something that's overlooked, and that's something you can't sell when you're interviewing people for a job. But one last thing I want to say is Mike Krukow, I hope he's listening, is hilarious when he was singing that song when the Giants came to town. It reminded me when I was a kid listening to Russ Hodges and Lon Simmons and hearing that song, and I hope Mike keeps that up. He's so cool. I love it.
Dude, I was laughing. I listened to the post-game rap in the other room, so I'm doing the show now in the broadcast booth. And I listened to the rap in the other room on the KNBR app, and I was laughing at that tonight. That was hilarious. And yes, he is as good as it gets. And the post-game rap still is the best show on KNBR. No offense to everybody else's show. It's still the absolute premier show on this network. All right, Stevie G, thanks for the call. Let's go to Joshua in Orlando, Florida, where it's 11:30, 12:30, 1:30 in the morning in Orlando, Florida. What are you doing?
Hey, just staying up for the ball game and the post game show, and we're doing some overnight work again. So just get prepared for that.
Where are you just putting the bodies in the trunk, Joshua? What are you doing right now? You just what are you doing 1:30 in the morning?
At home right now.
Are you a facilitator? Do you work for the family? Are you connected?
No. I was just fixing my son's new bicycle. Spend a little time up, and then we're doing some hours at work that will leave me short sleep.
So a lot different than what I was saying. So that's really nice of you. What do you want to talk about tonight, Joshua?
Yeah. I just want to say the Giants are pulling on the same rope, and I can say that Matt Chapman coming back after those devastating injuries he had this year is a huge plus. Because when he went down, I thought his season was going to look bad when he came back, but he's made adjustments, and he's actually hitting the ball very well for a guy who had serious hand injuries earlier in the year. What do you think of his adjustments he made?
Well, I think you're dead on. They don't win without him in the lineup. I saw some numbers the other day, and I probably should have them. My bad for not having them, but they win a lot more than they lose when he's in the lineup, and they don't win when he's not. So we've mentioned all these other names tonight, but he's the core. He's the heart of this team. He's the heartbeat of this ball club. And he's a baseball player. We talk about playing hardball. That guy plays hardball every night. That's why he got the contract last year. He sets examples for everybody. Because if you have a big contract guy that's one of your main guys and he goes about it the right way every single night, then everybody else has to go about it the right way. So, yeah, dude, I agree with you 1,000,000% that guy is the core of this ball club.
When Buster Posey went out and said, "Hey, that's our guy," before he was even general manager, he made the move to get Matt Chapman on the team, and he knows character because he was around those kind of characters when he won 3 World Series. So I think in Buster we trust all future moves he'll do in 2026.
Yeah, I think when you have a guy as competitive as he is, but as humble as he is too, and is learning on the fly, everybody's calling the radio station or going on Twitter saying he should do this, he should do that. But the smart move is, and true great leadership is, you sit back and you learn, you ask questions, and then you probably have a list of things you want to adjust into next year from top to bottom, whatever that is. He's going to make adjustments. But if you come in the first year and you're DFAing this guy and you're firing this guy and you're changing whatever you want to change, everybody's, that's not good leadership to me. Good leadership is very humble. It's not knee-jerk. It's not emotional. And it's got to be hard for a guy that's had so much to do with outcomes of a game his whole career, had a Hall of Fame career, and now he has to sit back and just watch. And there's nothing he can do. Once you decide on your roster, once you decide on the lineup for that night, Bob Melvin, there's nothing you can do. It's out of your control. When for so many years it was in your control, that's where you start pulling your hair out, because you just sit back and you're just at the mercy of whatever happens. When you're playing, you go up there and slap a double into right center field and score 2 runs, or throw a guy out stealing, or just call a right pitch in a crucial situation. And if that's not happening, or you see things that are driving you nuts, that's a hard adjustment for any player. But if you're running one of the premier organizations in all of baseball with such great history, and you've won 3 World Series, that's got to be hard, man. I think, I don't know how many people even think about that aspect of the job. It's all just, we all have the fantasy league mentality where we trade this guy for this guy, or we plug this guy in and he plays, and it's not like that. So I've been beyond impressed with how he's handled everything this year and how they're in the spot they're in right now with the chance to play baseball in October.
Yep. Just your comment on Dominic Smith. That's another pick that no other team in baseball thought of doing, and he's ready for October the way he's playing. Buster Posey knew what he was doing when he brought Dom Smith in.
Yeah, you heard Kipe on the Wrap tonight. I'm with Dwayne. Like, I didn't know a lot about Dom Smith. I saw him play as a Met, but I had no idea that he was Gold Glove quality first base. And I think he should get consideration. Anybody that's watched him play and has seen how smooth he is around the bag, he got that bunt play in the 9th inning, which I love Torey Lovello, but when you have a guy scuffling and you give him a free out, and that probably is the play right there when you're behind by 2, but like, if a guy's really scuffling out there, you kind of let him scuffle, and giving Ryan Walker a free out right there was super advantageous in the sense that it gave him time to take a deep breath. It also gave Bob Melvin time to get Jose Butto hot, like that whole bunt and then regrouping. That was a lot of pitches in the bullpen for Butto, who was up in case things started to get a little bit sideways. But Dom Smith is a championship player. You talk about winning players. There's guys that can hit the ball far. There's guys that can throw the ball hard. But some of those guys wouldn't know how to win a game if they had to. But there's also baseball players, and there's guys that are winning players, and Dom Smith's a winning player. He can win you a game without getting a hit, and you can't say that about too many people. He can win you a game with getting a hit, and he's done that. Got a 2-strike approach. He's a very likable guy, even keel, same guy every single day, which is a commodity in the clubhouse. Yeah, I would be shocked if the Giants don't sign him next year, because whoever plays first, it doesn't matter. You want baseball players, and you want winning baseball players and championship caliber type baseball players, and he fits that mold big time.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. We're going to be headhunting the Dodgers when they come in. Dodgers bullpen has fallen apart, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I haven't been paying too much attention to them. I'm just kind of focused on the Giants right now. And when you're playing well as a team, you really don't care who you play. It'll be fun, though. I can't wait. Thanks, Joshua. Good luck putting that bike together. Let's go to Sandy in San Francisco. Sandy, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
How you doing, FP? I'm doing great. Another great Giant night, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it like I felt it in the beginning. I'm 78 years old from New York City, and I tell you, man, it's fantastic to see the Giants go the way they're going. I think part of the reason they're winning is that you have Buster, who's a catcher, and you have our skipper as a catcher. They communicate well. They understand each other quicker and able to make decisions in a quicker and better way, I feel. Mr. Gilbert, that's our Hunter Pence. That's our Hunter Pence for this time.
He's 10 times crazier than Hunter.
Yeah, and that's great.
Isn't it?
That's great. I love it.
Dude, I love everything about this kid. I do. I just think it's refreshing. It's authentic. It's nuts. It makes me laugh. If it's making me laugh, it's making those guys laugh. They're having fun playing baseball again. There was a lot of long faces for a couple of months in that Giants dugout. Now they're all laughing. I see them on the plane. I see them on the bus. I see them in the clubhouse. They're just having a good time being around each other. And that one caller that called earlier, was that Dan from Palo Alto that's talked about loving your teammates? These guys generally care about each other, man, and it's a wonderful thing. However, this thing ends, and let's all hope it doesn't end. Let's hope this goes on as long as it can.
Well, I think they got an identity now. They found an identity that they didn't have, even though they were winning in the first half before the All-Star break. They still didn't have an identity, and after that, they kind of went downhill, losing their wheels. They found out who they were, who they are, and they got their identity together. They're having fun. They're having fun playing baseball, like you say, hardball. They're playing hardball, man. And I'm, I'm a Polo Grounds guy, and watching those teams. And now I'm 78 watching this team, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Baseball is my favorite sport forever, and I'm just enjoying it. Give me your opinion, though, FP. You played the game. You laced them up. You put them on, man. Why isn't Mr. Lee leading off? He has 11 triples. Why isn't he permanent leadoff?
Man, that's a tough one because I'm with you. And he's a handful of times lately he's led off. He sees a lot of pitches. He seems like a prototypical leadoff guy. He should be stealing more bases for me. Like, that's a 20 stolen base guy. He's just not aggressive. I think as he grows as a major leaguer, let's all remember that this is, in essence, his rookie year. He only played a handful of games last year, and the rigors of 162 games, and Bob's done a nice job of giving him days off here and there. But if you could take his game and just turn it up a notch and make him a little more aggressive on the bases, where he's a 20 stolen base guy instead of a 10 stolen base guy. You could get him to bunt more, maybe take charge on fly balls in the gap more in the outfield, and just be more of a take charge guy. And maybe that comes with being a veteran, which, like I said, I think we all forget that Jung-Hoo Lee's kind of a rookie and going through his first 162 Major League Baseball campaign. And so there's little tweaks to his game that could take him to the next level where he's an all-star. And laying down bunts once a week and adding 10 or 12 more. Did you see the bunt he laid down last night? If he adds 12 bunts to his ledger at the end of the season, he's going to be a 300 hitter in his sleep. So there's so much to work with there. Like the nucleus of his game is super solid. He's been well coached. He knows the game left and right. He always throws to the right bases. But if you could give him just a little sprinkle of Drew Gilbert, I think you would see his game go to the next level.
Well, I tell you, you're so right. And lastly, I love that Chapman came in there. I like to see baseball, any team, just for the pure fun of the game. Throw me out. Be like Willie Mays.
Yeah,
be like Roberto.
Be aggressive.
Throw me out. Throw me out.
I love aggressive base running. It turns me on more than anything in baseball, but intelligently aggressive, like knowing the score of the game, the time of the game, what your run means, knowing the strength of the arm in the outfield, knowing who's on deck, who's coming up, if it's no outs, and he could drive you in as well, when to take chances. No, the reason Matt Chapman was safe at home is Corbin Carroll didn't get behind the baseball. There was a little where he was flat-footed, and that was the difference in Matt Chapman being safe. Now, I don't know if there was wind up there or, because you got to catch the ball first as an outfielder. But if Corbin Carroll plays that where he's running in, Matt Chapman's out. but he kind of caught it. I wouldn't say he was stepping back, but he caught it flat-footed high. Then he had to get momentum again and transfer the ball from his glove to his hand and make the throw, and that was the difference, boom, boom, at the highest level on a guy that can really run the bases, got good speed, being safer out. That was a baseball play. I love that. I love to see guys taking the extra base when it's time to take the extra base, when they've done their homework and their pre-pitch preparation. They know where the outfield's standing. They know the arm strength of the outfield. They know the hitters up. Like, I used to go so deep as a base runner where I would know, well, he's a first pitch fastball hitter, or last time up he had a fastball in. He's not going to get that here. It's going to be a first pitch off-speed pitch, probably a good pitch to steal on because I'm going to get an extra step. Or I'm going to look for the ball in the dirt, even if I'm not stealing, because he's not getting a first pitch fastball. And then you check the defense every single pitch when you're on second base because they shift and counts. I mean, there's so much that goes into one pitch in base running that it's the most neglected part of our game right now. I scratch my head, and I have a lot watching the Giants this year. I can't lie about that. But other teams too. If you watch the Yankees play, they have no idea how to run the bases. And that adds up over 162. If you're always looking for 90 feet and you're always being aggressive but intelligent in your decision-making process, as a manager, you can't get mad at a guy getting thrown out if he's taking an educated risk, if he had a plan and he wants to be aggressive. The best base runners I've ever been around, and I did consider myself a really good base runner, that's probably the only thing I was good at, is you're not afraid to get thrown out. You're not afraid to make an out on the bases. Will Clark's one of the best base runners I ever saw. Larry Walker's probably the best base runner I ever saw in my life. And that guy was aggressive, intelligent. He had a plan. He knew what his run meant. He knew how many outs there were. He knew what time of the game it was. He knew who was coming up. Every time that guy made a base running a play, it wasn't just like WTF. It was like he knew what he was doing. And I think as a group, in any team in the major leagues, the Brewers are great at it. If you emphasize base running, and we're going to work at it every day in BP, we're not just going to jog around the bases in batting practice. We're going to take 5 reads from second, 5 reads from third. We're going to work on breaks early tomorrow. We're going to get out here. Here's what this pitcher's going to do. This is his tell. We're going to get some 5 or 6 fake breaks or good breaks at first base off a coach. Like, these are all the little things that add up over the years. So if you miss the playoffs by 2 or 3 games, you don't miss the playoff by 2 or 3 games because you've emphasized base running. The importance of it is as a group, not just 1 or 2 guys, but like getting major league players to buy into that philosophy and say, you're right. We're going to run the bases and we're going to work at it. That's a hard thing to do because I don't know that that's emphasized in a lot of organizations.
Effie, you just did something that was really great, man. I'm going to, sign off on you. You just did a Joe Morgan deal, man. Stick with it. You just taught us all something that is really. Joe Morgan was great at it, and you keep doing this, dude. Keep doing what you're doing because that was a Joe Morgan moment.
Thanks,
Keep
Sandy.
doing it, man.
I appreciate it. I wish John was listening. John worked with Joe for a long time. Let's go to Dan in Scottsdale. Dan, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
It's Dana.
Oh, Dana. It says Dan on here. I saw Scottsdale. I should have known it was you.
I know they don't get it right, but anyway, it's, by the way, it's wrapped up like a douche, another rumor in the night.
Wait, wrapped up like a douche?
It's actually deuce, like a number 2.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, whoa, that song's a lot different than I remembered it.
Sounds like douche, though. But, dude, I'm so excited. It's so weird in Scottsdale here where the Arizona games in San Francisco are blacked out for some reason. And the Arizona games against the Giants in Arizona are blacked out. So it was really kind of cool. I listened to the whole game on the radio with my iPod headphones, and I had the best time. It reminded me of when I was a kid and I listened to one year I listened to every Giants game the whole year. And I got to tell you, man, Gilbert is refreshing as hell. And Dominic he's a gamer. And Matt Chapman reminded me of Willie Mays tonight, taking that base.
Wasn't that cool?
So I think they're gelling, man. They're coming together, and they're barreling the ball up. Like, do you see Ramos's home run last night?
I did. I saw all the home runs last night.
that ball was crushed, and he hasn't crushed that many balls until now.
Dana, you know what I was saying today earlier? I did a Giants fantasy camp, and we were talking about all the home runs. Like, if it was, I want to see a stat on home runs in this ballpark when the temperature's over 70 degrees. I did this in D.C. when I was a broadcaster there, and that ballpark played super small or super big when it was cold and super small when it was warm. It was a launching pad. And we did some sort of research, and it was 1.5 more home runs a game when the temperature was over 71 degrees or something like that. This place is a launching pad when it's warm. This would be one of the smaller ballparks in the big leagues if it was like 80 degrees every night in this ballpark.
I know.
But, I mean, that's neither here nor there because it's not. But you think about Willie Adames and Rafi Devers, they just endured like the coldest summer in San Francisco in 40-something years.
Yeah, and Adames, like, he started so slow, he's going to have 30 home runs this year. It's amazing.
I know. He's getting to the back of his baseball card, which tells me more about the man than the player. He could have said, I got my contract. I'm just having one of those years. I'm really going to work hard this winter, and I promise I'll be better next year. And he just turned it around. Like, it talks about – Felipe used to talk about the man and the player, and he would always say that tells me more about the man than the player.
Well, anyway, man, Willie Adames is a gamer. He's been consistent and positive all year. And I got to tell you, man, I never know where you are. It's like the movie Wedding Crashers. Like, I never know what he's doing back there, So it's good to reconnect with you, bud.
Dana, I don't even know where I'm at half the time. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. I'm like, what is it, Roy Kent? By the way, your golf clubs don't work.
What do you mean?
For you guys that don't know, Dana sent me a nice set of Titleists, and I could never thank him enough. I golfed. Nobody wants to hear this, so this is just me and you talking. I really don't care. I golfed Olympic Club after the USGA the Monday after it, and if I just missed by an inch on the fairways in the rough, it was just like Edward Scissorhands, man. I couldn't get out of the rough. I was way overmatched. I thought I was talked into that it was going to be a scramble, but it was play your own ball. And by the second hole, I just turned to my foursome. I said, I do not belong on this golf course. Like, this is like a cathedral that I should not be in right now. I'm overmatched, over my skis. No way I should be here. But then I turned it around and I was plus 22 from the tip. So it turned out okay for a guy that doesn't golf at all.
Well, the lake course is like going to the electric chair. You know what I mean? It's
Dude,
hard.
It was hard. Way too hard for me. But thanks again, Dana. Thanks for everything, man. I'll see you in Scottsdale for fantasy camp.
We will definitely get together.
I believe it's like the first week in January or so. I don't know the exact dates, but I'll be in Scottsdale for like 7-8 days.
Okay, I'll definitely hit you up, bro.
All right, thanks, Dana. Good to hear your voice. Let's go to Tom in San Francisco. Tom, you're on KNBR.
Hey, FP. First of all, I always thought it was dressed up like a douche. That's just the lyrics that I want to think that song is.
Which I've probably done a few times in my life, probably more than I'd like to admit.
Well, maybe that's Mac Jones in his red suit this weekend.
Oh my God, he looked like a villain on a Batman movie. He did. He looked like the Joker. Did you see his suit?
I did see that, yeah. Or it looked like NFL draft day. Some guys do that stuff on draft day. But, yeah, anyway. A couple of your callers I want to echo. I so enjoy when you're doing play-by-play, and you make me laugh like every half inning. And I think it's really cool that you can convey the game and anticipate things are going to happen, whether, the classic one when you're talking about the clutch gene or, this would be a good place for a bunt or whatever. You do that like 2 or 3 times a game, and I just really enjoy that. So
thank you.
Kudos to you. You do a great job. It's super entertaining. My question for you is, I grew up with the Big Red Machine. Tony Perez was my guy, and he seemed like the glue that was the Big Red Machine. And they really pissed me off when they traded him to the Expos. So I became an Expos fan for a couple of years. I don't know if you crossed paths with him or not. And then I became a Red Sox fan because Tony went to the Red Sox. Anyway, the question is, I'm really interested. Who did you play with? Maybe you were the guy. Who did you play with, or who did you compete against that was a lot like Drew Gilbert? Did you see that like once or twice a year, or really sporadically? I'm really interested in over the last 30 years. Who else has been like that?
Well, I have a comp, and it's not a popular one, but I'm talking about on the field only. And I think the reporters in the scrum in Denver were asking Bob Melvin who he reminds you of, and he couldn't think of anything. And then Susan Slusser said, well, FP thinks he's like Lenny Dykstra. So I don't know if he's that good a player or that good a hitter yet, but just the energy he brings. And like, I always remember Nails being one of my favorite nicknames ever. And I used to like look up to that guy as a player when I was, you know, an undersized guy. And I remember meeting him in Philadelphia, and he played so hard every night. I mean, he was dirty. He was a pig pen. He had tobacco juice all over his jersey. He was bloody, and he just played so damn hard every single night. And is he a mess now? I don't know. That's not for me to say. But, like, I compared Drew to Lenny Dykstra on Twitter, and I got crushed. They're like, oh, we hope he's not like him. And I'm talking about the baseball player Lenny Dykstra. And that's kind of who he reminds me of. I don't know if he has that kind of power. I don't know anything about him right now. It's all I know is I love everything about him.
Yeah, I think Hal McRae was kind of that kind of guy for the Reds way back when. He just crushed people at second base on double plays, and
yeah, those slides were cheap, dude. I see the highlights of those. Those are Bush slides. I mean, there's taking somebody out, and then there's running over the second baseman like he's a catcher, and that's what he used to do. I mean, there's a good hard slide into second to break up a double play, but he wouldn't even slide. I saw highlights of him like just running into him like he's a catcher.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for
So I'm taking it from you that it's pretty uncommon to have a Drew Gilbert out there on the field.
No, and I just don't change. I want to be the same his whole career. Never change. Have that intensity, that demeanor, that authenticity. Don't come up with some act. Just keep being you, dude. And it's refreshing for baseball in general, not just the San Francisco Giants, to see somebody having that much fun playing a kid's game and bringing that whole college vibe to sometimes it gets a little corporate up here. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Jacob, where are we at? Dan in Alameda? Dan in Alameda, you're on KNBR. I'm going to take these calls and we're into the show. There's 4 more on hold. 808 KNBR. Well, you already called. Dan in Alameda, what's going on?
How you doing?
Good.
How you doing?
I'm great,
All
Dan.
Right. First off, I want to say, when you came back to the radio, I was like, oh, my God, this is my guy. So I called my son in San Diego and said, you got to listen to FP and Joe Rizzo call a game. That is my favorite.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Dan. I appreciate it.
No, hold on, bro. Other than that, I want to say that when you have the comparisons of the Rook that's coming up, I've watched you play. I see the comparison of you and him. Was that Drew?
I wasn't as much of a maniac as he is. Maybe a little bit off the field that a lot of fans don't know about. I had that side to me. But I was joking on the broadcast the other day, like, okay, I love this kid, but it takes a lot to get the Fighting Hydrant Club. Armando Rios, Marvin Bernard, myself, like we all played the outfield at times for the Giants, and Mike Kukoc called us Fighting Hydrants because we looked like fire hydrants that wanted to fight you. He could be in that club. Got a long way to go. I texted Marvin the other day, but he didn't text me back. I said, are we ready to let Drew Gilbert in the Fighting Hydrants Club? So Marvin's big leaguing me. Although it was a green text, so maybe he's traveling or something.
And then the last thing I want to say is, if I could have a bucket list wish, I would like to have a beer with you and Eric Burns. Because that would be some awesome shit.
Yeah, well, be careful what you say. You can't swear on the radio, even though I think that's a stupid rule. All right, Dan, thanks for calling. Yeah, if you go out with Eric Burns now, you better bring a helmet. And maybe even shin guards. But we haven't done that in a while. He's like super Todd Marinovich dad coaching his kid. I haven't seen him in years. Let's go to Lauren in Humboldt. Lauren, you're on KNBR.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. You know, I'm like most fans. I'm really loving when the team wins. I'm loving the chance to be in the playoffs this year. I wanted to say that, you know, I've been listening here for a while, listening to the last few callers, and I wanted to mention that I really loved watching you and Marvin Bernard play, and I love those games back in the day. But I also wanted to say I really love your critique of the Adames earlier. I never gave up on him. I've been wanting him to come to the Giants for 2 or 3 years. I was extremely excited when Buster signed Adames. I was over the moon. But what I'm getting to, ultimately what I'm trying to get to is, do you see the Adames home run, when it flew into those stands, they look like they're half empty. And I just want to call out our fellow fans. It's somewhat embarrassing. You look around the league, you got teams that are in contention for the playoffs in September. Other than the Cardinals, you're having full stadiums. The Cardinals don't really count because their fans are on strike, but I looked last night. They had higher attendance at Cardinals games than we did at our game last night, and I was like, what the heck? And I really hope that we can do better than that, and I would hate to see a sea of blue out there this weekend. I mean, I'm just calling on the fans to get out there and support our team, because the teams feed off the energy of the fans. So let's go give our team some love and help push them into the playoffs. That's what I was calling for.
Lauren, I love the call, man. That's good stuff. I appreciate it. And it's a slippery slope if you criticize fans on the radio, and I won't do that ever. But I will say this from a player standpoint: when it's late in the season and you run on empty, there's nothing better than a home game in front of your fans. It's just like 5 cups of espresso, 5 shots of espresso, and you're out there and you just feel the energy and you feed off that as a player. And these guys got their own thing going right now, but there's nothing better than putting on your white uniform in front of your home crowd and having them give you that extra push you need to get to the finish line. In moments like where there's 2 strikes and you all rise as a group and be proactive for something to happen. To me, the best baseball fan, no matter what city it is proactive and not reactive, where they're cheering for something to happen. And 1-2 count, everybody's on their feet, they want strike 3, and then it happens, and then you high-five everybody like, we did that. Or a 3-1 count to the hitter, and he hits a double in the gap, and you're all on your feet before he hits you're cheering for something to happen. Anybody can cheer once something happens, but I feel like to be proactive and to be standing up in a 3-2 count, and then your player hits a home run, and then you're like, we did that. That's a good fan. And I think Giants fans are a good fan. So hopefully it's not a sea of blue. These guys need you out here. I'm not going to sit here and beg people to come to the game, but if you can't get behind this team with what they've done recently and how they turn their season around, then you're just a spoiled fan. And you're just like, I had people calling, I'm not coming to another game. This team, I'm done with them. I'm like, well, okay, that's your prerogative. You never tell a fan what to do. And I probably sounded dumb 3 weeks ago when I said I'm not giving up on this team. But turns out they're right in the mix. Let's go to Salvador in Novato. Salvador, you're on KNBR. Good call, Lauren. Thanks. Salvador, you're on the radio. Go.
Welcome to the jungle. Gilbert's got some grapes. Gilbert is a pit bull on speed. I love his energy, and I'll be the first to apologize to Adames. I know you mentioned that earlier in the call. I was definitely giving him a hard time. He's definitely come up, and I'm excited for him to be the first 30 home run hitter for the Giants since Barry Bonds. Here's some quick stats. The Giants are 44-12 when scoring 5 runs or more. They've played 51 one-run games. This team is built for the playoffs. We've just got to get in and make it happen like the 2010 Giants. And I don't know if you saw the article, but I'm going to come out tomorrow with my last name Serrano. So I'm coming out with the Joe Boo crew. We're going to bring it for the Joe Boo, and we're going to do it for Major League tomorrow. So you can't miss me out in the 415 and also in the Gotham Club. So if you're there, let's grab a drink.
All right, Salvador, I might see you out there. Thanks for the call. I got a better stat for you. Giants are 58-22 when they score 4 runs or more. 58-22. What's that, 36 games over 500 when they score 4 runs or more? Pretty good number. Terry, you're ending the show tonight. What do you got?
FP, thanks for taking my call, my man. I love listening to your analysis. You're amazing. And not only for your career, love watching you guys back in the day.
Well, thank you very much for the compliments. I just talk. I'm a pro talker. I talk too much. I probably joke too much on the air, too.
No, you're a big dog. And so, to your previous caller's comment, I flew out there from Arizona in mid-July to watch the Dodgers series. So, yeah, you got to go to the stadium and support the orange and black every day as much as you can. Now, the flip is they're coming to Arizona, so I'll be in Phoenix watching them beat some Diamondbacks in a week.
Well, good, Terry. You're a good fan, and hopefully the season ticket holders aren't selling their tickets to the Dodgers. I mean, we need Giants fans here. This whole thing where the Dodgers take over this ballpark is tired. It really is. It bothered the guys the first time around. Remember Willie saying something in his locker after the game? I think Logan Webb said something. Like they want you guys out here. And I get the season tickets.
I came over from Arizona, and there were probably darn near as many blue hats in the stadium in July than there were orange and black.
I agree. It was sad. All right, Terry. Well, keep cheering. Go ahead. Sorry.
Real quick. No, the other thing is you're exactly right. Like, it's September baseball, and yeah, you got the big dog Drew coming up, and like he reminds me a lot of the energy of Hunter Pence back in the World Championship days, and this team comes together. I mean, the other game when, everybody gets thrown out, Chappie and Adames gets thrown out, and Rafi goes, yeah, I'll do what I got to do, and he goes over to third base, and they win some baseball. That's September baseball, and you're right. The team's coming together, and I think you just got to show up and watch them win.
That's it, Terry. Thanks. It ended on a good call. I appreciate it. I don't know if I should share this on the air, but I talked to Matt Chapman in his locker after the fisticuffs or whatever you want to call it in Denver. So we went in the clubhouse after the game, and his line was, nobody pushes the Giants around. Let that marinate for a little bit. And he thought that this was going to bring him even closer, and it has. We got something special going on. Who knows where it ends, but if you don't like this, you don't like baseball. So hopefully we'll see you out at the yard. I don't know when I'm doing this again. I don't know where I'm at tomorrow. I don't even know how to get home after this, but it was fun reconnecting with you guys tonight. Always fun talking about a ball club that plays the game the right way, and all of a sudden the Giants are playing better than anybody in baseball. So keep this thing going. We'll see you at the yard this weekend. Thanks for all the calls tonight. Jacob, thanks a lot back at home base. You did a great job relaying the calls tonight. And like I say on the way out, every single time, swing hard in case you hit it on the Sports Leader.